Hey everybody, my name's Sarah, for those of you that don't know. For those of you that do know, we've had so many great conversations lately that I think it's only fair that I tell you a little bit about myself and my wrestling career, if you will. When I was younger, I never watched wrestling. I remember in elementary school, all these little boys would come in wearing their Austin 316 shirts, and at recess, everybody would be pretending to be The Rock, and do you smell what The Rock is cooking and all that. When I got a little older, the only thing I knew about wrestling was that it seriously interfered with my Law and Order Special Victims Unit marathons. It always came on at the wrong time, and I would just get mad about it. But about 5-6 years ago, when Scotty and I got together, he introduced me to wrestling. We would watch Raw, sometimes an Impact, every now and again SmackDown. After we were together for about a year and a half, we decided not to have cable anymore because we were always at work at night and we never really watched anything except wrestling. So we watched a lot of DVDs. We would go to Walmart and buy DVDs when the pay-per-views came out. We would buy the best ofs and stuff like that. We have a huge DVD collection. We'd watch them over and over because really there's a lot of matches on those DVDs that you can watch over and over and not get bored. So that's how I really started actually enjoying wrestling and watching wrestling. His kids have always been super big wrestling fans. All they ever want is wrestling toys. A couple weeks ago, around Christmas time, I asked the oldest one, how many figures do you actually have? And he said, at least 1 million. So I'm sure they have over a couple hundred. And they don't just want one Dolph Ziggler doll. They want every single Dolph Ziggler doll that's ever been created. So I've been around them a long time too. So I've kind of grown up with them in the same way. They've been becoming bigger wrestling fans as I have too. We watched the DVDs so often that I really got to learn the history of wrestling. We have so many cool WCW, ECW, those types of wrestling, classic, old school, even before those promotions, Smoky Valley, whatever. We have DVDs for everything. And we're also close to Ohio Valley Wrestling, which means that there's always shows around here, local stuff. Pretty much everyone around here is interested in wrestling, knows somebody who wrestles in one of these small promotions. So I've been around it for a long time in the past few years. Scotty's dad even refereed a bunch of matches 20 years ago. He met some big names. So it's really cool to see how wrestling does affect people in our area. But back to my wrestling experience. When we decided to get cable again, we also got a DVR so that we could record those things when we work, because we both work second. Every night we get home, there's some kind of wrestling show on at least every night. We typically always watch Raw. Sometimes SmackDown. We always watch Impact too. We do have the DVR, so I'm not going to lie, we do fast forward through some things. I'm sure almost everybody does. When you've got a Santino and Greg Khali versus Kurt Axel and whoever, it's too boring to watch, so we fast forward that. But typically watch, 4 or 5 hours of wrestling a week. We don't typically watch the Wednesday night, whatever, or Saturday morning slam. It's just not that important to the storyline to watch it. But we do sometimes get pay-per-views. There for a while, we ordered some and we were just so pissed off. It was when Ryback and CM Punk and that whole mess, and Punk kept winning and cheating, and we were just over it. So we didn't buy one until SummerSlam, which was awesome. We were happy with that one. And then the next one we bought, we were screw this. So we usually just either watch some of it online or watch the reviews the next day or that night. I've been to a couple live events. I went to a Raw event, and I've been to an Impact event, and it was when they do the live event and then tape the next week's show, so that was really cool, kind of 2 shows in one. I would like to go to another Raw. I feel like the one I went to wasn't that great. But it is cool to be there in person, and, you know, you don't have the announcers in your ear, and it's just kind of cool to sit back and, like, watch it as a fan with a bunch of other people who love the same things. So, since I've told you a little bit about my wrestling background, I'd like to tell you about some of my favorite and least favorite things going on right now and in the past. Let's see. Start with my favorite wrestlers. I used to be a big Randy Orton fan. Not so much anymore. Really, when I started watching with Scotty, I just thought he was very attractive, so I liked him a lot, but I don't really see that in him anymore. Jeff Hardy's always been one of my biggest favorites. I had his DVD. He seems just like a really cool guy, like on a personal level. I love watching him wrestle. I think he gives it all. He's not as great right now in TNA, but I think that a lot of people can relate to his struggles and his mistakes and whatever. He's got some awesome moves. Even his brother, a cool tag team. Also, I have down Jericho. Who doesn't love Jericho? He's like the funniest wrestler that I've really enjoyed watching over the years. If you're talking TNA, my favorite, Samoa Joe. I think he's really badass. Like, I think that he'd whip your ass on the street if you said something wrong. And I think he's fun to watch because he is such a big guy. And he jumps and flies and moves around like he's not. My favorite old school, back in the day wrestlers, Razor Ramon, like toothpick and all. Just a cool, like, badass guy. Some of the best storylines. I mean, he just had that, like, that flair that a lot of people didn't have at the time. Just the gimmick. It was perfect. Like a Coke Lord or whatever. Who doesn't love Razor Ramon, really? My favorite promotion right now is TNA. I'll give you that WWE does have certain moments in the show that are really entertaining, that grab you, that, you know, make you want to watch. But as a whole, for the whole show, I'd rather sit down and watch TNA. Like, I can actually sit down, watch it, not fast forward, not fall asleep. And if I do that with WWE, I'm usually asleep in, like, the first hour. My favorite pay-per-view is the Royal Rumble. I love the Rumble match. There's some classics that you just can't beat. It's fun to see all those people interact, especially when they bring back the old people. You're like, where has he been? What the hell's going on? I really like that. I think it's a good time to bring people back, like Goldust last year. It's just fun because you never know really what's going to happen. My favorite DVD that we bought and watched a million times, I think it's called Satan's Prison. It's the Elimination Chamber DVD. Like, I have that thing memorized forwards and backwards. I love it. There's nothing better than an Elimination Chamber match, and I think the pay-per-views are just so far from what they used to be, because it used to be like more than one Elimination Chamber match. But that's my favorite DVD. My favorite wrestler that retired too early is Edge. That whole gimmick, the rated R superstar, I think that's really true. I think he did a lot of stuff that just, you're like, what, is this okay to be on USA? Like, I really think that he could have gone far, had a lot more years in him, and I do miss him being around. And I don't watch that new show of his. If anybody watches it, let me know if it's good or not. The best entrance, or according to me, the best entrance is Goldust. Like, first of all, who knows how they do that? Like, it's so cool. It actually looks like a movie. Like, it slows down, the color changes. It's really cool every single time. And a lot of people don't have that kind of entrance, that every time they come in, it's just badass. And sticking with this theme, my favorite entrance music is Shawn Michaels. I even liked it back when he didn't sing it himself, although now it's better. But that's one of those songs that you just get stuck in your head. Love it. It's awesome. Everybody knows it. Everybody will remember it forever. Kind of like Hogan's song, I'm a Real American. But if there's one song that gets stuck in my head for the whole week till I watch it next week, and it happens again, it's Bobby Roode's song. And I know it doesn't have words, but if you listen, pay attention, that music will just get stuck in your head and you'll sing it all week. My favorite move is the power slam. I know that's not like on everybody's list of favorite moves, but if it's done right, I think it is the most badass, beautiful move out there. Like, it's just breathtaking that like somebody could throw somebody over that fast and it's all just one fluid motion. Awesome. I also like Jeff Hardy, so my favorite Jeff Hardy moves, the Swanton Bomb. He's done it off so many crazy things, like, you know, Titantron, whatever, like, beautiful. And I also love Sweet Chin music. There's this one Sweet Chin music, Google it, YouTube it, if you don't remember it, but Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin music, Shelton Benjamin, as he's coming over the rope, it's awesome. You can, like, hear that smack. It's really cool. My favorite submission moves are probably the same as everyone else's, but they're the sharpshooter and the figure 4 leg lock. And I'll pause so everybody can woo real quick. Favorite referees, Earl Hebner, especially with his new attitude in TNA, which he's always had the attitude, but it's like extra crazy now. And I like Charles Robinson too. My favorite upset match in history is Razor Ramon versus 1-2-3 Kid. It was awesome. Go back and watch it. It's like so quick, so crazy. Like everyone's just sitting there like, what happened? It's really cool. And my all-time favorite match ever is Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Two of my favorites at WrestleMania 19. There's something about a match, especially a Mania match, when it's two people that are so similar to each other that are just, they almost mirror each other in size and shape and moves and everything. Especially these two, because I think in this match they were both at the peak of their careers. Even though Shawn Michaels was older, it was almost like Jericho was the hottest thing. So was Shawn Michaels. It was, Jericho said that he wanted to be like Shawn Michaels when he grew up. He wanted to be Shawn Michaels. And so you've got this stage set that's just like, can he beat him? Can he be as good as him? You've all seen the match, but Shawn Michaels ends up winning after a crazy fight, back and forth. They both imitate each other. They both kick each other's ass. And then Jericho starts crying and hugs him, and all of a sudden he low blows him and shoves him off of him to the ring. And it's one of those moments that you're like, who really won that fight? Did Jericho even lose? That's the best kind of Mania moment, I think. And sticking with my Jericho theme for this video, my favorite funny moment in history is, it was just a WCW clip. Jericho's got this, like, back when fax paper, like those things you pull off the end and they all connected, and he's got this huge list of like 100 sheets of paper, and he's running around talking about his list of holds and his holds. He's like naming like 327 and number 650, and he keeps saying arm bar. Something about that is just hilarious, and Scotty and I still to this day, every time we see an arm bar, laugh about it. Arm bar. It's really funny. So now for my least favorites. My least favorite wrestler to watch today is The Rock. He was okay back then. I get why people think he's so funny, but for me personally, I don't really like his humor. I don't think he's that impressive. He's obviously got a great body. He's an athlete, whatever. He's a great actor. I think that's what's so appealing to him about so many people. And yeah, I know we have a Rock poster, whatever, it's the kids. But he's just not my favorite to watch. I don't think he's still got it like he used to. A whole nother video, I know, but that's my opinion. My least favorite moves, and this will probably piss people off, but my least favorite moves include CM Punk's elbow drop. And I do love a good elbow drop, don't get me wrong. There's just something about CM Punk, and he has to like raise his arms up and like take all the time in the world, and it's just not very good. It's not like one fluid like movement. It doesn't really look like he's gonna hurt anybody with it. He always lands kind of awkwardly. Another of my least favorite moves, obviously, is John Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle. It pisses the hell out of me. Any kind of move like that like takes so much time to set up just bothers me. It's like, keep with the reality type thing. Like, we know it's fake, but like, let's at least pretend like you're not going to give this person 10 minutes to get up while you're dancing around the ring. The one exception to this rule is Scotty 2 Hottie's worm, just because it's so funny to watch that. It's really entertaining. Still, it does bug me a little bit, but that's the only exception. And my least favorite move is Rey Mysterio's 619. There's no reason that any opponent would ever end up leaning on the ropes like that for that amount of time, awkwardly, in the middle of the ropes. Why? Like, you can see them, like, kind of glancing around their shoulder, like, is he coming? Stupid. It bothers me every time. I will not miss seeing that move. My least favorite entrance is the Wyatt family. I was, like, a big supporter, like, oh, this is cool, like, creepy mountain people. I still kind of like it, it's fine, but their entrance drives me crazy. They have to say, we're here, and it gets dark. Like, we know you're here. Like, change it somehow. Thing that bothers me most about it is they carry that lantern all the way down to the ring, and then he pretends to blow it out, and it's an electric lantern. Like, I get it, you probably can't have fire, or like there's a chance that it'll break or whatever, but don't pretend to blow it out. Just twist the dial and turn it off. Like, you have to, like, it's stupid. My least favorite entrance music is Miss Stephanie McMahon. I can't stand it. Like, I guess it was okay at one point for her when she was all, like, edgy and young and cool or whatever. It drives me crazy. Like, you don't need a rap song to come out. And there's nothing against rap. I really like rap music. But for the executive of this company, and she's trying to portray herself as, like, the authority and so respectful and classy and cool. Like, what? That music is just stupid. And, oh God, I could make a whole video about Stephanie McMahon. But I can't stand her music. Let's see. Well, that's all on my list. I could have kept this going forever. There's millions of favorites and least favorites that you all can think of. If you want to know any of them, let me know. I think it's cool to make a video like this. You all should try to make one too. I think it's neat to learn kind of what somebody likes so that you kind of know what their videos are going to be like and what they like. I think that a lot of you all grew up watching wrestling, and your parents watched it, and your dad watched it, and you sat and watched it with your brothers, and it was a family affair. But for me, my wrestling experience has been a lot different. I didn't grow up watching it, like I said earlier. It's just been the past 5 years that I've really been into it. I feel like I'm definitely a big wrestling fan. I definitely put my time in. I enjoy watching, but I think that because of how I became a wrestling fan, I have a different perspective than a lot of people. I like to kind of pick apart the matches, kind of guess what's going to happen. It's really neat to sit and watch a match when you can see what's going to happen next. Is somebody going to kick out? Or a storyline. Like, you got to have a good guy and a bad guy. And there's this whole kind of script that they have to follow for the match, for the storyline, for leading up to pay-per-views, for promos. Like, it's really neat, and I feel like I kind of look at it that way. And I enjoy doing that. I'd probably drive Scotty crazy doing it, but I do enjoy doing it. I watch wrestling for those moments that just stop the crowd. You see everybody just taking pictures. It gives you goosebumps. Like, that doesn't happen a lot, as much as it used to this past Raw when the whole Daniel Bryan thing, and he was sitting on top of the thing. Before, when he was doing the yes chants real slow and then everybody started with him. That's one of those moments when, like, you're watching at home, but everybody in that arena is doing something, and you're watching and you're standing up doing it with them. Like, I feel like that's why I watch wrestling. I started out watching because of Scotty and his kids. Because we had DVDs and we watched them all the time, and I just kind of grew to love it. But I really, well, no matter how I started watching, I'm definitely a fan now, and I'm definitely going to be a fan for life.